Ring Show. I am super excited for today's episode, and I know you guys all know, because come on now. That past weekend, we had the High Ground Show, and we found out, like, me and this other person, we tag partners now. We figured it out. And that's cool. I'm excited. I'm sure he better be excited. No, I'm just kidding. But let's give a warm welcome to Gus the Savage.
What is going on? Showtime Harley.
How are you today?
You know, I'm fantastic. Can't complain. It's Saturday. Happy 316 day. All my Stone Cold fans out there. Can't complain. Like I said, happy to be here. Happy to be on an episode of the Talk of the Ring Show.
Finally, after you ditched me the first time, but you know it's all right.
Finally.
No, it's fine. No, I'm just kidding. So, I usually hop in with a different question, but you're not typically a wrestler. You're more in like the music, the ring announcing, which is really cool. So my first question is going to be, obviously we all know you write your music and the ring announcing, right? But which one came first?
Music came first. And I would say obviously, but that would only be for people who really know me. So for people who don't know me, music was my first thing that I got into, because growing up it was just music. Like I listened to my mom's music, and then I started to make my own music when I was like 11 or 12 years old, and then from then on it just became a thing where I made it my career when I was about like 16 years old. Then ring announcing came more recently, about a couple months ago. In September, I started training at High Ground Pro Wrestling Training Center, and the first show that I was a part of, I was helping build the entrance area, and we were setting up production and stuff like that. And I just had a random question in my head. I was like, "Who's your ring announcer?" And Molson was like, "Probably you." And I was like, "What? What? You want me to do it?" And going into it, I had a really big head about it, because I was like, this is gonna be easy. Like, I sing and I hold the mic all the time, so this is gonna be a cakewalk. And my first time doing it, I was nervous. I was a nervous wreck because it wasn't anything like that. It was a completely different atmosphere. Like, I know how to entertain a crowd with singing, but being an MC for an entire night of pro wrestling, that's a different ball game. Like, I'm not going out there and singing songs. Now I gotta keep these people entertained. I gotta keep them glued to the show. Like, I'm not a worker per se, in ring, but I have to keep them engaged with what's going on. So like that was a big task that they trusted me with. And I did good, and I did good to the point that now that's become my thing at High Ground Pro Wrestling, where Gus the Savage, the Hollywood Star Child, is your MC for every evening we are at the Falcon's Nest. And it's been really fun ever since. I haven't been up at the training center more recently, and that's my bad. But I've also had to deal with some personal things when it comes to my family, my job, and as well as my music. But soon I'll be going in, taking some bumps again. But that's really how it started. Like I wasn't originally supposed to be a ring announcer. I was training to be a wrestler, but ring announcing just kind of like fell into my lap essentially, and I love doing it. It's so fun.
No, I mean, you're a killer at it. I mean, when I did it, I was like, nah, you can have that. I like the interviewing better. It's so much easier because I'm not in front of everyone. But we a tag team, so you take part, I'll take part. It's easy.
Yeah. That was very fun to find out that I was getting a new tag team partner, ringside correspondent, whatever you want to call it. And on behalf of everybody at High Ground Pro Wrestling and myself, welcome to the family. One thing about High Ground Pro Wrestling is that they are very family oriented. Like, they will treat you like one of their own. I feel like Molson's like my dad. Like, I worry about him, whenever he can't make it to the school and he's not doing too good, and he has to take visits to a place that we don't like to visit, which is the hospital. Gray Wolf as well as Crow, them being trainers and my mentors, as well as the guys up at the school, Justin, uh, Big D, who I don't know what his situation is, but I'm glad I got to meet him, and I'm glad I got to train with him. The dude, Stuncat, like we have so many people new too coming in, and we're growing as the months go by, as the days go by, as the minutes go by. There's somebody new walking into the High Ground Pro Wrestling Training Center to fulfill a dream that they had ever since they grew up, or whether it became something that, as an adult they saw on TV and was like, you know what, maybe that could be for me. So that's what High Ground Pro Wrestling is for anybody who walks in that door. It's the opportunity to fulfill a dream that you had at any part in your life, and fulfill it in so many different ways, because you don't have to be an in-ring competitor. You could be just like me. You can be a ring announcer. You could be um, an interviewer. You can be a podcast host. You could be an in-ring wrestler, you could be a commentator, you could be camera crew, you could so many different like tasks or jobs, or however you want to put it, that we have to offer our students. And it's just such an amazing experience when you have trainers, and when you have an owner who treats you like you're in their bloodline. So
Yeah.
big shout out to High Ground Pro Wrestling.
No, for sure. It was definitely different, like being backstage and like seeing everything. Like Molson, like he's great, but he is a scary man because like he's taller than me. And he was getting stressed. I was like, I'm gonna stay over here because I'm not trying to get my
Well,
ass kicked. But he
to
does
be fair, everybody's taller than you backstage.
maybe not Crow. Crow is the
What
one
was
person I don't think.
I
I'm just
can't I can't I don't feel like I can comment on that
yeah,
without the God of all gods coming to my doorstep and
yeah, right.
doing some unholy things. So no, but it was definitely I was seeing you backstage, and I was seeing your anxiety riled up. So I just want to tell you right now, that's exactly how I was feeling the first day that I was back there. I was like, holy shit, like I don't want to mess things up. I don't want to screw up anybody's name. I don't want to say it wrong. I don't want to do nothing wrong. So I definitely felt you on all aspects. I'm like, oh my God, like I need to be your mentor when it comes to backstage and doing the ringside corresponding. And that's okay, because I've never had a tag team partner in anything, and I've never felt like I was in a group, because I've always done like solo stuff. So like this will be fun, where I do the ring announcing, you're doing the interviews, or whatever else that they want us to do together. To be honest, I feel like it's going to be a great time. But advice that I have for you is just is treat it like you're in school, and you're chilling with all your friends. Like we're a family. We're a big family. Or treat it like a family get together. Like that's all it is. Backstage, the guys, you know, they're working on what they need to work on. But we're all still like this. We're tight knit. So don't worry about it too much. Because I messed up on my first day. I messed up on the last show that we did. But one thing I learned is nobody's gonna know unless you point it out. So
Yeah, I mean,
lesson learned, I'm not doing that ever again.
yeah, and
But
maybe like because you said the name wrong. If you read the card correctly, that wasn't my fault. But
so fun fact um about the last show, Showtime Harley did my cue cards for me.
because he asked.
Because I asked, and I can't put all the blame on you, but the name was not on the card for that particular worker.
Mhm.
He was not there. So I was like, ooh, what's his name? What's his name? And I said it right. Apparently I didn't mess up the name. I said the right name. I just said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
That
definitely
loud in the microphone.
it
That
was
I learned too from Miguel Del Barrio, who is the owner of Frontier Pro Wrestling, who is now joining us as like a sister brother company to bring in some of their guys to work with us. Um, as well as what does I forget the company that Nathaniel New Era Pro Wrestling, right? Is that what it is? As well
Yes.
as Nathaniel Cunningham's pro wrestling company, New Era. I learned a lot that day,
No,
and a lot of it is about having unity when it comes to federations or promotions or indie wrestling schools, however you want to classify, like wherever you're at in the bracket.
yeah.
I feel like this area is sometimes united when it comes to other aspects of things, but not always united when it comes to what's really important. And I feel like wrestling, alongside with music, is very important to this community. And there should be a lot more unity within those two communities. Um, because I feel like when we're all trying to compete with each other for whose federation is better than the other, or whose poster is better than the other, or whose wrestlers are better than the other, excuse me, that's when everybody's head is humongous, and at one point or another it's gonna pop, and when it pops it's gonna be bad. So one thing that I could definitely take away from being a part of High Ground Pro Wrestling is the fact that there is a lot of unity in the locker room. There's a lot of unity amongst everyone at the school. There's a lot of unity among anybody who we bring in, because most is not going to bring in somebody who's gonna half-ass something, or who's gonna not be a good worker for his environment, because we don't allow cancer in our locker room. um so I feel like everybody should be working together, because there's a lot of indie promotions in the 570 area who are working together, and then there's some who aren't working together. And it makes me sad, because there's so much potential for like so many dream matches and so many dream events that can be put together on a grander scale. And we're just like missing those opportunities because of egos, because we can't put our pride aside, because we can't figure out what beef we have with who or whatever. It's 2024. If we want to go about life hating each other and disliking each other and trying to be better than one another, we're never going to reach the prosperity and the peace that we want in life. And we're always going to have that better than you mentality. And that's not something that I want to be a part of. So I like the unity we have now. I feel like we should have more of it. And whoever's listening, whoever feels like what I'm saying right now has any sort of importance to you, unite with each other, because we need it more than anything now. The world is literally crashing around us. And the only thing that keeps everybody together is entertainment. And there's no entertainment better than sports entertainment.
No, absolutely. And like you kind of said, like the high ground specifically, like everyone was so welcoming. It was like you said, it was like a family. And I was like, okay. Cause like I've been to other shows, but they're all like for themselves. So like being in high ground,
Hmm.
obviously, like there was Crow, there was you, there was Molson, Miguel. Like you guys were all so welcoming. And you're like, you're doing great. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm doing terrible. Stop lying to me. But it was a really fun show. Everyone did great. It was a learning experience. It was fun. But in the
And you know what? You're gonna have a learning experience every single time
yeah.
you step foot into that door. And that's the best thing about High Ground Pro Wrestling, is that you're always learning. No matter where you go, you're always learning. You're always learning about different locker rooms, different backstages, different bookers, different promoters, whoever. You're learning. So it's
No,
good. It's good that you were able to experience that.
no, absolutely. So in the chat, really quick, we have my friend Caitlin saying 316 day. And then we got my dad in your name.
Yeah.
And then he
He's
put,
honestly become my favorite person at the shows. Like
yeah,
when
it
he
was
calls
so
Crow mini me, that's hilarious.
Oh my god. We all oh my god, it was so funny because I don't know, I think you were backstage as well. We were all backstage and then someone was coming out and then maybe it was Crow and then we heard my dad, he was like doing that bark, like the dog barking, and I forgot who it was. They were like, "Is that a fan?" I was like, "Yep, that's my dad." And we
That's
all
not
just
just a fan. That's my dad.
that's my dad. But it was funny. But okay, so my next question is gonna be: you had, I mean, I've done my homework kind of. You've had a few backyard matches. What were those?
Oh
What
man.
were those like?
Okay. Okay. I guess we could talk about that. What was the question? What was the question?
what were those matches like?
Thank you for putting them in quotes. First and foremost, I'd like to say that that realm is very frowned upon in pro wrestling, and I already knew that going into it. So, but I had those matches essentially. That was I can't say that was the start of it because growing up, like when I found wrestling, I would wrestle my pillow, I'd wrestle my friends,
Yeah,
but as far as like full blown like matches, those were the first ones that I had. And that was essentially the start of my wrestling career. Like I won the title off of my buddy Mikhail, and then he beat me for the title in what was probably the worst ladder match that I have been a part of because I look at some of the spots that I was selling and I was just so horrible. And we were supposed to do the trilogy. We were supposed to do the third match, and the third match that I was gonna have was gonna be my last match in the yard until, I graduate and I get to do whatever I want to do again.
yeah,
But that was supposed to be my last match before leaving the yard and go into training to be a pro wrestler. And we did Limelight Mania 1, we did Limelight Mania 2. It was gonna be Limelight Mania 3. Like that, it was gonna be the end of the story. I was gonna win the title. Like it was set. And unfortunately, the title holder, you know, his workplace environment didn't allow for him to do any more content like that. So we were gonna have Live by Mania 3 where I still ended up winning the championship because it was vacated and I won it at the end of the night. But one day I just texted Molson and I was like, it's either I do it or I don't. And I started training. But right before I started training, I had dropped a promo that we were doing this event and then we never did it. Um, I miss doing it, but it's much better to learn how to do it safely and do it in a ring where you can actually compose a full match as
yeah.
opposed to grass and dirt and whatever we could find to make like something padded, you know. It was fun though. It was very fun. I enjoyed it. And that's where my theme song comes from. Like my theme song follows me from there to here. Um, and I wanted to have that follow me, not because like I wrestled in the yard, but it's something that I started with and I had the dream of, yo, this is my theme song now. Just imagine when I start doing pro wrestling stuff like professionally. And boom, the first time I heard that in speakers at an actual pro wrestling event, I was like, oh, no way, this is happening right now. Like I used to hear this shit off of a Bluetooth speaker at my friend's house, and now it's at the Falcon's Nest every event. You hear that riff? It's me. It's me. I'm coming. Like,
No, for sure. I mean, at least you had that experience. You know what to do and what not to do.
yeah.
And now you
Oh,
can like
absolutely.
for real like go through and whatever you dream of. So it's cool, it's cool.
It's
So
all
that we
about following your dreams. You have to start somewhere. And at that time, I didn't have enough money to train to be a pro wrestler. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna say, like whatever. I'm just gonna wrestle. Whatever I see, okay, I could emulate that. And that's how I learned to do yard stuff. But learning the real stuff, that's the fundamentals. That's the bread and butter.
No, for sure. So my dad says, "What is your best moment at High Ground Pro Wrestling?"
Um, at the moment, because I've only been there for a couple months, but at the moment, my favorite or best moment at High Ground Pro Wrestling was when I got to ring announce for the Carnage event when we had Shane Douglas and we were sold out. And I was not expecting Shane Douglas to come into the ring when I announced him and to shake my hand and shook his hand. The next day we had a seminar with Shane. I got to tie up with Shane. I learned a lot from Shane Douglas. I took notes. He's very old school to the business, so what he was teaching us was I'm not sure if it's a way that the business functions to today, but he did teach us a way that it functioned when he was in the locker rooms, when he was doing, these shows back to back to back every single day. And it was very insightful because it shows you how real we're supposed to keep professional wrestling, even though everybody says, it's fake, it's scripted, whatever. We still have to keep a large aspect of it real. And part of that is because if you and I have a match, I can't be backstage with you and be your best friend. Like we have to now I guess, people work their spots backstage, but before, like there was none of that. Like if you were a heel and I was a face, like we can't be seen with each other because you're breaking the kayfabe. Like you're not supposed to do that,
Yeah.
and that's what the Click did. At Madison Square Garden, Triple H, Kevin Nash, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels, all broke kayfabe, and that's like the biggest break in kayfabe in wrestling history is when they did that because they were leaving for WCW.
No, yeah. So, like, if the time when the time comes and you become a wrestler, do you think you're gonna be a heel or do you think you'd be face?
Um, I don't want to be a heel. Like when I first jump into it, I don't want to be a heel. I want to be a face. I feel like I'm a face right now. Like the
Yeah.
crowd gets into it when I put the energy out there. So I want to feel that. I don't want to be hated by anybody. I'd much rather be loved. And that's the path that I'm going on right now. Like I'm building myself up to be a face. Like I'm building myself up to live up to the name of the Hollywood Star Child. You know what I'm saying? So I want to go into it. Honestly, I can't really say if it's my choice or not, but if I had
Yeah.
to choose, I would definitely go into it being a face. But at the end of the day, I got to go with whatever my trainers want me to do, whatever they feel is best for my first like starting gimmick essentially. Um, but I would love to be a face and I would love to continue on with the Gus the Savage energy that I bring to them as more than a ring announcer, now a wrestler.
No, yeah. I think even if you came out of the heel, it'll be like a Crow situation because Crow's supposed to be a heel, and I'm that fan. I'm that person that will always bring the best out of whoever. So Crow is always like, "Yeah, I'm this big bad guy, and he's a heel." And I always have him laughing out when he's in the ring, when he's in backstage. I always have everyone laughing. So I think even if you came out as a heel, I'd have you out there laughing your ass off, or you couldn't be a face anyways. So
I probably wouldn't be able to be a heel for too long.
yeah,
I
but like,
could definitely pull it off though, because like I'm good at the face, but like when I do dabble in the heel stuff,
I
it
guess
gets
if
evil. It gets nasty.
yeah, I mean, I guess they just gotta wait and see. But my dad says, "Where do you see yourself in the future or announcing?"
Honestly, honestly, I don't want to say the cliche answer, of, oh, I want to go to WWE, or oh, I want to make it to AEW. Because I feel like that's everybody's end goal, is to be in a major wrestling company. What I want to do, as far where I see myself in the future, is I just want to be a part of everything.
No,
I want to be involved, whether it's with wrestling, ring announcing, commentating. I just want to be involved. And if I can say that I contributed something to the local scene, to the national scene, to the international scene, then I am content with my wrestling career.
no,
Whether I get to WWE, AEW, TNA or not, I did it because I wanted to do it, and I said I was going to do it.
no, for sure. So now we obviously know you have a daughter, and if she's still baby, but when she grows up and she ever came to you and she was like, Dad, I want to do exactly what you're doing, whether it's writing music or ring announcing or being like a wrestler or something, what would your words to her be?
That would honestly, like, and I tell my baby moms this all the time. Like, watch, she's gonna be a singer and she's gonna be a wrestler when she grows up. That would be my biggest dream if my daughter came up to me and said, "Daddy, I want to sing." I'd be like, "All right, well, let's go. We're gonna go to the studio right now. We're gonna set you up with your first song. We're gonna make an album." Or, Daddy, I want to wrestle. Okay, well, maybe by that time I'm like to the point where I can train her. And if she wants to wrestle, I'll train her in the house. And then when she gets old enough, boom, we'll train her up at the High Ground Pro Wrestling.
All right.
Like, or if I live somewhere else and my daughter is with me at that point in my life, whatever she wants to do, I'm going to support her in doing it, whether it's music, whether it's professional wrestling, whether it's doing a sport like softball, basketball, tennis, whatever. If she comes up to me and says, "Daddy, I want to do it," we're gonna do it.
No, for sure. Most supportive because there's a lot of people that are like, and this is probably where it like plays into effect where a lot of like you said, not everyone's like united and everyone's like kind of for themselves except High Ground. Like High Ground is welcoming, but those other companies, they're like everyone's so I don't know how to say without being that person, but they're so self-centered and about themselves that a lot of people are like, I don't want to be in that environment or I wouldn't want my kids in that environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but High
I've
Ground,
I've I've seen those environments. I have
yeah,
dabbled around places. But there are some places around here, like real local, that that are doing very well for themselves.
sure.
And that I feel like should definitely join in on the festivities that we're trying to accomplish, because it would be a great way to, like, essentially complete the puzzle of northeastern Pennsylvania professional wrestling, you know?
No, absolutely. And so my next question is going to be obviously you said Shane Douglas, but out of everyone else, what is like one of your favorite names or like favorite wrestlers to announce?
Ooh, man. So, like, I don't know if I'm allowed to be biased. Um, but so far, my favorite wrestler to announce has to be has to be
We're waiting.
because I got to do it, and I hope you clip this moment so you can send it to him, because it has to be Cyclone John.
I knew it. I knew it when I asked
I
that
love
question for sure.
I love doing that. Ever since he told me, because like I wasn't gonna announce him like that at first. And I spoke to him in the back and I was like, so like, what's your moniker? Like, how would you want me to announce it? Like, you want me to Cyclone Jones? He was like, nah, if you want to drag it out, Cyclone. I was like, all right, I got you. Bet. First time I did it, I was just like, Cyclone Jones. And I love doing it.
For
And
sure.
also the dude, for sure. Even though his name is just the dude, but there's a certain way that you have to announce that man so everybody knows that he is the dude.
It
And
does.
he is. He is the dude at high ground pro wrestling right now. Like I don't think there's anybody more over than the dude right now.
No, he is the most interesting person I've ever met. He Yeah, I don't know if you know, at the last show, we started talking about birds, and he's like, "No, birds aren't real." I was like, "Oh." I think
Yeah,
for me,
don't
gummies.
don't talk to dude too much. Sometimes he has a little bit of, a little bit too many of his gummies. So like
Yeah.
he'll start to say like the birds are watching you and stuff. But he means well.
No, yeah. It was my friend's, first wrestling show, and he went to her, and he was like, "Do you want a gummy?" I said, "Don't take the gummy." And she's
No,
like,
take the gummy.
"No,
Take
don't
the gummy.
don't take the gummy."
Always take the dude gummies.
No. It's
They'll
a
make you feel all right.
okay, if you say
Ladies and
so.
gentlemen, I do not promote any marijuana use. Anyway,
So, what would you say is your favorite thing about wrestling, like, as a whole? It doesn't just have to be the ring announcing, but anything.
being involved, seeing all the new faces, connecting with people, networking with people, getting to know these people, growing relationships with people, just the entire experience of being a part of professional wrestling
Yeah,
after watching it on TV for so long and dreaming about being a part of it. I'm living in my WWE right now. Like this is my WWE. Like who I see out there, those are my John Cena's and those are my Dwayne Johnsons and my Cody Rhodes. Like those the indie people before they make it
yeah,
to the top. I get to see that shit. Like I get to watch these guys as they're making it, and then I get to see them when they make it and be like, yo, I just finished announcing this dude last week, and now he's getting re-announced by Samantha from SmackDown.
yeah.
Like, it's nuts. So, like, just being a part of pro wrestling as a whole is one of the greatest experiences that I can take out of professional wrestling is the training, the ring announcing, the shows, the workers, the food at the Falcons Nest. I love it.
No,
Mwah.
for sure.
But
Abs
yeah, just being involved is a beautiful thing.
No, absolutely. So now we're gonna kinda switch the knob and go into more of your music. What would you say is
Yay.
your favorite thing about writing music?
All right. So my favorite thing about writing music is no, I'm just kidding. So no, I have to start the sentence like that. My favorite thing about writing music, completing the song, getting the song done,
Yeah,
because it's hard sometimes to start it. So when I finish it, I'm like, "Oh, yes," because me personally, I always think now, more recently, any of my newer songs, anything is good.
yeah.
So once it's done, I'm like, this is a hit right here. This is gonna be the one.
Mhm.
Excuse me. Like I have a song that I recorded not too long ago that I'm dropping next month that I have like high expectations for it. But the only way for me to get it to, oh, excuse me, to get it to up here is if I do the proper promotion for it. So best believe come April, the only thing I'm going to be talking about is that song. But yeah, my favorite part is completing, and my second favorite would be recording it. The recording process, getting to sing the melodies, and experiment with different harmonies. It's the
Mhm.
creative process of it. This as a whole is just my favorite part.
No, for sure. So, like, what would you say is the hardest part other than completing the song?
The hardest part is being the artist, because
Yeah.
there's a certain level of consistency that you have to keep. Like right now, when we're done here, I'm gonna be sharing this, and I'm gonna be sharing the song that I just dropped yesterday, so that way people know, like, yo, you gotta listen to this song, and I gotta work on getting it playlisted, and you know, like I said, promoting the song, getting it out there. So the hardest part is doing all of that by yourself when you don't have a manager to get you show opportunities or sponsorships or promotional pieces done, whatever. It's hard because now you have to do all that by yourself. Now you have to reach out to the venue. You have to do the promotion. You have to um, get your own gigs and do your own merch stuff. It's managing myself is the most difficult process of being a music artist. Once the song is out and like once the song is recorded and ready to go, that's the easy part. Once the song is out, that's when everything gets difficult because now I have to either set up like promo pictures for the song or promo videos, music videos, got to use money and make money. It's a crazy business
No,
to get into.
for sure. So, if someone came up to you then and asked you for advice, like in the music industry, what is your advice to them?
I'm gonna give them the same advice I was given about professional wrestling. If you're not ready to make music your life, if you're not ready to invest in yourself, invest in your craft, and that means when it comes to putting money into yourself, when it comes to investing time into yourself to master that craft, um, if you don't have the will to want to succeed in what you choose, that might not be the thing for you. But don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do it. So if you want to do it, just do it. I say it in every podcast that I've ever done. I feel like I'm like cliche with that answer, but like it's legitimately the truth. Like just do it. I remember the Saturday that I texted Mosin and we were talking and I remember like a month or two before I went into school personally and I sat down and I met with him. And when I texted him that Saturday, I said, "When can I start?" He said, "Tomorrow." That was now or never. It was either I go in the next day and start my training to be a pro wrestler, or I thought about it for years and it became a what if factor in my life. Oh, what if I did that? What would have came out of that, you know? So instead of what if, I said, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna see. I want to see what this is. And it's hard. It's harder than music. Being a pro wrestler is way harder than music. What the things that we had to do to our bodies in order for us to just work for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, 30 minutes, you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe the things that we had to do just to have a 50-second spot. Like we have to train our bodies for anything, no matter what. So the conditioning process, the the drills that we had to do, like just talking about it, um, it gives me flashbacks of being at the school and just enduring the pain because
Yeah.
it's not a punishment. We can't call it a punishment. It's not. They're not punishing us. They're training us to do what we
Yeah.
want to do, which is be a pro wrestler. But it's excruciating. Excruciating. I remember my first day. Like the next day, I couldn't walk at all. And I had to be back at the school on Tuesday. And Tuesday, my whole body was on fire. But I made it through the first fight week. And after that, it was like riding a bike.
I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean, good for you to at least
Listen, I'm not telling you this to discourage you
no.
because I know that you want to be a pro wrestler. I'm just letting you know it ain't all sunshine and rainbows when you get in that ring. It's gonna get nasty for you. But once you get past the first week, once you get past the first couple of days, 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in, your first month, you'll be like, let's do a both. Boom. Like you seen how eager I was backstage to want somebody to suplex me in the ring, and I was just a ring announcer.
Mhm.
Like that's what you'll get once your body starts to get used to it, once your body's conditioned, you'll start to see that you're not getting winded as much and you could do more. And you'll be like, man, I know I'm the interviewer, but you want to choke slam me in the middle of the ring right now? Like,
No, oh no. That's like a conversation I have with Crow like every time I see him, whether it's at a show or like whenever I talk to him, he's always like, "You ready to start training?" I'm like, "No." You can have that spotlight. I personally, I don't want to get choke slammed. I rather stick with like the interviewing, the ring announcing, just But I think it's still good to have a little bit of training. But I guess we'll see where the
I
future.
think, but listen, if this is going to be a tag team, eventually I'm going to have to get in the ring. Eventually, you're going to have to get in the ring. So you're going to have to get training. And I'm going to have to get back to training in order for that to be a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hey, you never know what the future holds. You could go from ring announcing to being the first ever women's world champion at High Ground Pro Wrestling. So
Who
the
knows?
future is yours to grab it, you know?
For sure. So my dad says double love, and then he goes and says the best podcast today. I know. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop, it's because I'm here, you know? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just- okay.
We're too much alike.
No, for real. He is like the male version of me, and I'm the female version of him. We vibe. Literally at
Yep.
the show, my parents were like, these two. These two. And I was watching all the clips back and I was looking at all the pictures that my parents took because they were just snapping. I'm like, me and him are too much alike when we're standing next to each other. Like it was actually funny. I was watching it the other day. It was when you were saying cyclone. I was like, this guy. This guy.
No, yeah, because I was like,
Yep. It was so much fun though. It was a lot. It
oh
was
my goodness.
so
My
now
bad. I'm
out of
here.
all out of all your music, what song would you say was the hardest to write?
Out of all the songs that I've ever written,
Yes.
I want to say that the hardest one to write most recently was my rock song that I'm like really happy about. Like, and it was difficult because I was going through writer's block. So I'm like, damn it, I don't know what to write about. I can't sing
Yeah.
right now. Why is this song not coming to me? And I'm not like a fan of making my own beats. Like, I've never been that good at it.
Yeah.
So when I tell you that I composed this song front to back, and I was like, I think I need to do something. And the lyrics just wouldn't come to me
Yeah.
until like one day I was just like, I need to get real emo with this. And just I started like thinking about like how this could sound like a punk rock or alternative rock song. And the hook came to me. And then once the hook comes, that's when everything becomes a piece of cake. Cause I'm like, okay, I'm gonna build off this hook. And boom, that's when it opened up. But it was really difficult because for a while I had the song in front of me and I didn't know what to do with it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was cool because it's like you're one of those people that always are like announcing like yourself, your music, and just like wrestling. Like you're always promoting like everything. So then the one day I was like, you know what? Let me look into this. And so I like went on Spotify and I found your music and I was like, whoa, because I love this wrestler, but his music it's gotta go. I'm just kidding. I love you. So his name is Jimmy Conway. He writes his
oh,
own music.
I thought you were gonna say somebody else.
No, Jimmy
Because
Conway.
I already had the name in my head. I was like, damn, that's how you feel.
No, no, but Jimmy Conway is an amazing wrestler, and he writes his own music. But like, I listen to his music. Sometimes I was like, it's not like my style. You know what I mean? And then I'm
What do
not
you
even.
think about Jay Bougie? Jay Bougie makes his own music too.
Jay Bougie is a bitch, and he knows that.
Oh, oh,
It's funny because Jay Bougie was on here, and he knows that. He knows that. He knows he's a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Jay Bougie, I love you just as much, but his music isn't for me. Anyways, but back to what I was gonna say. I'm not even lying. This is my Spotify playlist. All of
What do
this
you
is
think? Hold on, you think I didn't know that? You think I didn't know that? Literally,
just Savage music.
I have Spotify for artists, and it comes up
Yep. I was like, no.
on just about all the songs. I was like, damn, she put the whole album in there.
No, it was funny too because one day we were in the car and I was playing music and I told my dad, I was like, oh, listen to this new song and let me know what you think. And he's like, Gus the Savage? I was like, yep. And ever since, literally, I was getting ready before the podcast and I literally was listening to Pretty Little Face by you and Gabby. I was like, nah, that's how you start your day, you know? So,
That is a good way to start your day. I
uh,
have this song. I have the song from next month. I could send it to you so you could listen to it. It's really it's fire.
I'm
Too fire.
excited. I'm excited.
I'm
So,
trying to get it on 97.9X, the rock radio. So fingers crossed.
we gotta see. We also need it on Instagram because I'm one of those that always be posting pictures, and I need some of your music on there so I can like
No,
promote
it's
it.
there. It's there. You go on Instagram right now, type Gus Savage. It pops. Oh, you think I'm playing? Hold on. Man, we are universal around here. Okay?
Are you?
Let's go into the story, click that, then go to music, type my little name. You know what's funny about my name? I've tried to escape my name so many times, and it's just not happening ever. But it's okay
Sure.
because I've just grown to love it.
I think it fits too, though.
All right, Instagram being stupid right now, but it's there. It's there. I
Hmm.
promise.
Okay.
I
We'll
promise.
check it out later. We'll have to see. Whatever. No, I'm just kidding. So now, I don't think you do. I might be wrong, but we need Gus the Savage merch. Do we have Gus the Savage merch?
We have old Gus Savage merch actually. Merchbooth.com. That is where you can find my merch. I do not make the prices for this
Nice.
merch, but I will say that they are pretty expensive, inexpensive, however you want to look at it, whatever your budget is for supporting people. But, but I can show you the web store. Like I said, it's on merchmove.com. All you gotta do is go on merchmove.com, click vendors, go into musicians, and you'll find me in the G section. Or you could just go into the search bar, type Gus the Savage. And I got some t-shirts on there, with my face on it. It's an old logo because I don't have short hair anymore. But then like they come in like they're different colors. Then I have the actual clothes ones, like the ones with the logos on them. So my favorite one that's on there, and I don't own this piece, and I should buy it. I love this one. This is my favorite one. It's got the snake on it with the flowers.
Yeah.
I do, however, own this piece of merchandise that is also pretty fire. The rose on there. But yeah, merchbooth.com. I think it's merchbooth.com/Gus the Savage, or just go to merchbooth.com, search Gus the Savage, and you can find me. I'll be there. And you can be one of the many first purchases that, somebody purchases my stuff, because anybody who's ever said they were going to buy a t-shirt or whatever never has bought a t-shirt. So merchbooth.com, Gus the Savage. I'll try to get you a discount, a 25% off code if you want it. I could talk to the people and be like, hey, I want to run a sale. I want to run a discount, 25% off. Type in code GTS570. But don't do that right now because it's not active yet. So I'm just saying, if you want something, go to merchbooth.com.
All right. So now, if people want to show you some support on social media, where can they find you at?
You know what? Since the camera is working in my favor and it's doing like everything the right way that it's supposed to, so I have this business card. It does cool things. So if you go like this, right? Let me put it out to the camera. Boom. If you guys scan that, It'll take you to my Instagram, which is GTS570. It'll take you to my Facebook, which is Gus The Savage. It'll take you to my Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, which is Gus The Savage. Pretty much everything Gus The Savage on every single streaming platform, every single social media platform. Usually is GTS570. But again, scan this QR code, take a screenshot of it, take a screen recording, whatever you need to do, scan it, give me a follow, stream the songs that are coming out. I got new music always on the way, new wrestling stuff coming soon, hopefully. There's a lot of things that I have to work on before I do anything wrestling related, but
Yeah.
stick around for the ride. It's gonna be crazy.
For sure. And I think that's actually a really smart idea with the QR code because I have these. I don't even know where they're at. They're on the other side of my desk, but like
Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it out of my wallet if I might have one here.
maybe from the first show that you didn't know how to say my name. No, I'm just kidding.
Yo, stop, because I forget who was in the way of the poster. You were standing on a chair, head ass.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was doing. The December show was my first show, and he was like trying to remember my name because I had a poster board. I was there standing on a chair. I don't even remember what I was doing. Don't even remember.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah,
Talk about and that show was crazy.
that show was fire. It was a lot of
That
fun.
show was nuts. Shane Douglas was that. I think that was my favorite part.
Nah, for sure, for
I
sure. So
don't have one. I don't have one in my wallet. That's crazy.
he already lost my card. No, I'm just kidding. But guys, thank you so much, Gus, for coming on. Make sure you click his link. You could either scan his QR code, like he said, or click his link down below. Because if you click that, it's his Instagram, and I'm sure you can find everything you need from there. Make
It's
sure
either
you're
down
also
below or like above somewhere.
down below.
Oh, it's down. It's down.
It's gonna be on YouTube, so it'll be down below.
Oh,
Down below. So make sure you're clicking that. Also, make sure you're giving High Ground a New Era a follow on Instagram, on Facebook, wherever. And obviously, stay tuned to see what's next. Bye.
man.